Start investing in yourself today, not tomorrow, not when life becomes easier, because life does not become easier, you become stronger. Investing in yourself does not mean money first, it means mindset first. It means waking up every day and choosing growth even when fear is loud, even when the world tells you that you are not enough. Education is not only degrees and certificates. Education is awareness. Awareness of who you are, what you deserve, and what you are capable of becoming. When you start learning about yourself, your patterns, your strengths, your wounds, you stop living on autopilot, and you start living with intention. And intention changes everything. Understand this deeply. You are your longest commitment. People will leave, situations will change, success will come and go, but you will remain with yourself. So why do we invest so much time pleasing others and so little time building ourselves? Self-investment is learning to say no without guilt, resting without shame, and growing without waiting for validation. It is reading when others are scrolling, practicing when others are complaining, and reflecting when others are blaming. Education begins the moment you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Pain, if left unattended, becomes poison. But pain, when processed through learning, becomes power. Life will test you, break you, challenge you, but education gives you language for your suffering. It teaches you how to name your emotions, how to regulate your reactions, and how to respond instead of reacting. When you invest in emotional intelligence, you stop bleeding on people who did not cut you. You stop repeating cycles and start creating systems. This is not motivational talk, this is survival education. Consistency is the most underrated form of self-respect. You do not need to feel inspired every day, you need to be committed. Small actions repeated daily create invisible progress, and one day, that invisible progress becomes visible success. Learning one new skill, reading a few pages, practicing gratitude, training your mind to focus. These are not small things. These are deposits into the account of your future self. And compound interest works in personal growth too. Investing in yourself also means unlearning. Unlearning limiting beliefs, toxic conditioning, and borrowed fears. Not every voice in your head is yours. Education teaches you to question what you were taught, to filter advice, and to choose what aligns with your values. When you learn, you gain clarity. When you gain clarity, you gain confidence. And confidence is not loud, it is calm. It is knowing that even if you fail, you will learn again. Choose yourself daily. Choose growth over comfort, discipline over excuses, learning over ignorance. Because the moment you start investing in yourself, your life starts changing silently. One day you will look back and realize the best decision you ever made was not giving up on yourself. It was educating yourself enough to believe that you were always worth the effort. Self-belief is the first investment you ever make, and it costs nothing. Yet it demands everything from you. Before money, before opportunities, before support, there must be belief. Not loud belief, not motivational quotes pasted on walls, but quiet, stubborn belief that stays even when nothing is working. You must understand this clearly. If you do not believe you are worth investing in, no amount of resources will change your life. People wait for confidence to arrive after success. But confidence is built before success, in empty rooms, in silent struggles, in moments where no one is clapping for you. This is where self-belief is born. You don't lack talent, you lack permission. Permission you are waiting to receive from others. Stop waiting, give it to yourself. The world is full of educated, skilled, intelligent people who never moved because they doubted themselves 1 second too long. Self-belief is choosing to try even when fear is present. Fear does not disappear when you believe. It just loses control over your decisions. The most educated person is not the one who knows everything, but the one who trusts themselves. Enough to learn along the way. When you believe in yourself, you stop outsourcing your worth. You stop asking people to approve your dreams, validate your pain, or confirm your potential. You realize that belief is a muscle, and every time you show up despite discomfort, that muscle grows stronger. Even on days you fail, belief whispers, "Learn again." Even on days you fall, belief says, "Stand again." This is not arrogance, this is responsibility. Responsibility for your own growth, your own healing, your own future. Self-belief also means accepting that you are allowed to start small. Many people don't begin because they think small beginnings are embarrassing. They are not. What is embarrassing is staying stuck, because pride refused to let you be a beginner. Education teaches humility, and belief gives you courage. Together, they make you unstoppable. You study, you practice, you improve. Not because you are already great, but because you believe you can become better. Listen carefully. Believing in yourself does not mean ignoring your weaknesses. It means acknowledging them without letting them define you. It means saying, "I may not know yet, but I will learn. I may not be ready now, but I am preparing." This mindset changes everything. This is how people rebuild lives after loss, after failure, after pain. This is how purpose rises from ashes, something Muniba Mazari herself embodies not by words, but by lived truth. Every book you read, every skill you practice, every boo in dare you set is an act of belief. You are telling yourself, "I matter enough to grow." And once you believe that, you stop begging life for chances and start creating them. Self-belief is not a feeling. It is a decision you make daily, especially on days when doubt is loud, energy is low, and progress feels invisible. You choose to trust the process, you choose to stay, you choose yourself again and again. Your mindset is not just the way you think, it is the lens through which you experience life, and that makes it your most valuable asset. Skills can be learned, money can be earned, opportunities can be found, but if your mindset is weak, everything you gain will eventually collapse. Education starts in the mind before it shows in results. The same situation can either break you or build you, and the only difference is the story you tell yourself about it. A trained mind looks for lessons. An untrained mind looks for excuses. And advice that changes lives always begins here. A powerful mindset does not mean positive thinking all the time. It means honest thinking. It means facing reality without becoming its victim. It means understanding that life is unfair, but you are not powerless. When your mindset is strong, you stop asking life for mercy and start asking yourself for discipline. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on systems. This is education in its purest form. Teaching yourself how to think when emotions are loud and circumstances are heavy. Most PE. Opal lose not because they are incapable, but because they quit mentally long before they quit physically. A weak mindset says, "This is too hard." A strong mindset says, "This is training me." A weak mindset asks, "Why me?" A strong mindset asks, "What now?" Every challenge is either a complaint or a classroom. When you educate your mind, you turn obstacles into instructors and pain into preparation. Mindset also determines how you speak to yourself. The voice in your head becomes the architect of your future. If that voice is harsh, doubtful, and fearful, it will sabotage every opportunity you touch. Investing in your mindset means learning self-awareness, learning emotional regulation, learning how to pause before reacting. This is why mindset work is not optional, it is survival. People with the right mindset do not have easier lives, they have stronger responses. You must understand that growth is uncomfortable by design. If you feel uncomfortable, it does not mean you are failing, it means you are stretching. A strong mindset does not run from discomfort, it learns inside it. It understands that discipline will carry you on days when motivation disappears. Education trains your mind to stay consistent, not excited. And consistency is what changes lives quietly. When you build your mindset, comparison loses its power over you. You stop measuring your journey against others because you are too focused on becoming better than yesterday. You understand that progress is personal. Timelines are individual, and pressure is unnecessary. This clarity brings peace, and peace sharpens focus. This is how inner strength is built, not overnight, but through daily mental choices. Look at the life and resilience of Muniba Mazari, and you will see that mindset is not about what happens to you, it is about what you decide to become after it happens. A trained mind does not deny pain, it transforms it. It does not ignore fear, it walks with it. This is the mindset that turns wounds into wisdom and setbacks into comebacks. Every time you choose responsibility over blame, learning over complaining, patience over panic, you are investing in your greatest asset. Your mindset shapes your habits shape your character, and your character shapes your destiny. Protect your mind, educate it, challenge it, because once your mindset is strong, no situation has the power to defeat you. It can only refine you. Pain is not the enemy, ignorance about pain is. Every human being will suffer, but not every human being will grow, and the difference is education. When pain enters your life, it demands meaning. If you don't give it meaning, it will take meaning away from you. Most people try to escape pain, numb it, hide it, distract themselves from it. But pain does not disappear when ignored. It only transforms into fear, bitterness, or self-doubt. Education teaches you to sit with your pain, study it, understand it, and then use it as raw material for purpose. It's not something you find outside. It is something pain pushes out of you. But this only happens when learning is involved. When you start asking the right questions. Not why did this happen to me, but what is this shaping me for? Pain stops being punishment and starts becoming preparation. This shift is powerful. It takes courage to look at your wounds without becoming them. Education gives you that courage. It gives you language, perspective, and emotional tools, so pain no longer controls your behavior. Uneducated pain repeats itself. Educated pain evolves. If you do not learn from what hurt you, you will keep meeting it in different forms, different people, different situations. Patterns repeat until lessons are learned. This is not spirituality. This is psychology. This is life. When you invest in understanding your trauma, your triggers, your emotional reactions, you stop reacting from survival mode and start responding from wisdom. That is when healing becomes intentional, not accidental. Pain also humbles you. It strips away ego, illusions, and false confidence. If you allow education to walk you through that humbling, it will not break you, it will ground you. Purpose is born in humility, not in comfort. People who have never struggled often lack depth. People who have struggled and learned develop empathy, clarity, and strength. They don't speak to impress, they speak to heal. They don't chase attention, they carry presence. Look closely at the life of Muniba Mazari. And you will see that pain did not end her story. It authored it. Not because pain is noble, but because learning transformed it. Purpose does not erase pain, it gives pain direction. It turns suffering into service, wounds into wisdom, scars into stories that save others. But this only happens when you choose education over denial. You must stop asking pain to leave before you learn from it. Pain stays until it has taught you what comfort never could. Education teaches you to extract value from adversity, to build emotional intelligence, resilience, and self-awareness. When you understand your pain, you stop being ashamed of it. You stop hiding your scars and start standing in your truth. This confidence is not loud. It is rooted. Purpose is not a grand mission announced to the world. It is daily alignment with growth. It is choosing healing over habits that destroy you. It is choosing awareness over avoidance. When pain meets education, you rise differently. You become someone who does not waste suffering, someone who turns breakdowns into breakthroughs, someone who knows that life did not happen to destroy you. It happened to shape you, strengthen you, and prepare you for impact beyond your own survival. Consistency is not glamorous, and that is exactly why it changes lives. Motivation is emotional. It rises and falls. It depends on mood, comfort, and circumstances. But consistency is a decision rooted in discipline. When you rely on motivation, you work only when you feel good. When you rely on consistency, you work because you decided who you want to become. This is education in action, teaching yourself to show up even when no one is watching, even when progress feels invisible, even when results are slow. Life rewards what you repeat, not what you intend. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They quit too early because they expected instant transformation. Consistency teaches patience. It teaches you that growth happens quietly, below the surface, like roots forming before a tree appears strong. You may not see results today, but your nervous system is learning discipline, your mind is learning focus, and your character is learning reliability. These are assets no failure can take from you. Consistency is also an act of self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you break one, self-trust weakens. You don't need massive actions, you need repeatable actions. Reading a few pages daily, practicing a skill for a short time, moving your body regularly, reflecting on your emotions. These habits educate your mind and train your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who finishes. Discipline does not mean being harsh with yourself, it means being honest. Some days will be heavy. Some days you will be tired. Consistency does not ask for perfection, it asks for presence. Even showing up at 40% is still showing up. This mindset removes pressure and builds momentum. Education teaches you sustainability, not burnout. A life built on extremes collapses. A life built on consistency compounds. When you commit to consistency, excuses lose power. You stop negotiating with your comfort zone. You understand that growth requires repetition, and repetition requires boredom. Mastery is born in boredom, not excitement. The most successful people are not always the most talented, they are the most consistent. They learned how to keep going when enthusiasm faded. This is not luck, this is training. Look at the journey of Muniba Mazari, and you will see strength built one day at a time, not in dramatic moments, but in daily choices. Resilience is practiced, not discovered. Consistency turns pain into progress, fear into familiarity, and effort into excellence. It removes dependency on external validation, because your standards come from within. Consistency also teaches emotional regulation. You learn to act despite doubt. You learn that feelings are temporary, but habits shape destiny. When you show up daily, your brain rewires itself to expect discipline. This creates freedom. Freedom from procrastination, freedom from self-doubt, freedom from the cycle of starting and stopping. You become stable, grounded, reliable to yourself. Every small, consistent action is a vote for the person you want to become. One day, you will look at your life and realize the biggest transformation did not come from one powerful decision. It came from thousands of ordinary decisions honored daily, quietly, faithfully. Emotional intelligence is not a soft skill, it is a survival skill. And most people never learn it because no one teaches them how to feel without losing control. You were taught how to read, write, and calculate, but not how to process rejection, manage anger, sit with sadness, or communicate pain without destruction. Yet emotions run your decisions more than logic ever will. If you do not educate your emotions, they will educate you through regret. This is why emotional intelligence is just as important as skills, sometimes even more, because skills may get you opportunities, but emotional intelligence determines whether you keep them. Being emotionally intelligent does not mean suppressing emotions. It means understanding them. It means recognizing what you feel before it turns into a reaction you cannot undo. Most damage in relationships, careers, and self-worth happens in moments of emotional blindness. A person who cannot regulate emotions may be highly talented, yet constantly misunderstood, constantly triggered, constantly exhausted. Education of the emotions teaches you to pause, to name what is happening inside you, and to choose a response instead of an explosion. When you develop emotional intelligence, you stop personalizing everything. Not every silence is rejection. Not every delay is disrespect. Not every criticism is an attempt. This clarity saves energy. It teaches you boundaries without bitterness and empathy without self-betrayal. You learn that understanding others does not mean tolerating disrespect, and loving yourself does not mean closing your heart. Emotional intelligence brings balance, and balance brings strength. Most people fear emotions because they were never taught how to hold them safely. They fear crying because they think it is weakness. They fear anger because they think it makes them bad. Education changes this narrative. It teaches you that emotions are signals, not commands. Anger points to boundaries. Sadness points to loss. Fear points to protection. When you learn to listen instead of panic, emotions become guidance, not chaos. This intelligence also transforms communication. You stop speaking to win and start speaking to be understood. You learn when to speak and when silence is wisdom. You learn how to express needs without guilt and disappointment without drama. This skill alone can change marriages, friendships, workplaces, and self-respect. People with emotional intelligence are not louder. They are clearer. They do not drain rooms, they steady them. Look at the life and presence of Muniba Mazari, and you will notice strength wrapped in gentleness, honesty without cruelty, courage without arrogance. That is emotional intelligence at work. It is the ability to hold pain and purpose in the same heart. It is choosing grace without becoming weak, and truth without becoming harsh. When you invest in emotional intelligence, you stop abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. You recognize patterns, triggers, and wounds, and instead of letting them control you, you heal them. This healing changes how you love, how you work, how you lead, how you live. You stop reacting from old wounds and start responding from present awareness. Skills may build your career, but emotional intelligence builds your life. It protects your peace, sharpens your decisions, and deepens your connections. A person who understands emotions understands people. And a person who understands people understands the world, including themselves. Growth is not an event. It is a choice you must make every single day, especially on days when choosing yourself feels uncomfortable, lonely, or selfish. Courage is not loud bravery. It is quiet consistency in choosing what is right for you, even when no one understands it. People think growth happens when circumstances change, but real growth happens when you change your decisions. Every day, life will offer you two options: comfort or progress, familiarity or evolution, and courage is choosing progress again and again without applause. Choosing yourself does not mean you stop caring about others. It means you stop abandoning yourself. Many people are exhausted not because they are doing too much, but because they are doing too much for the wrong reasons. They say yes out of fear, stay quiet to avoid conflict, and tolerate la SS because they doubt their worth. Growth demands courage to disappoint people temporarily, so you don't disappoint yourself permanently. This is not cruelty, this is self-respect in action. Courage also means allowing yourself to outgrow versions of you that once kept you safe. What protected you before may limit you now. Old habits, old roles, old identities can become cages if you cling to them out of comfort. Education teaches you that change is not betrayal, it is alignment. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to choose differently when you know better. Growth is evidence of learning, not inconsistency. Daily courage shows up in small decisions, waking up and honoring your routine, speaking your truth calmly, asking for help when you need it, resting when your body asks, saying no without explanation, trying again after failure. These acts may seem small, but they require immense bravery because they go against conditioning, against fear, against expectations. And each time you choose yourself, your confidence strengthens quietly. There will be days when growth feels like loss. You will lose people who cannot meet the new version of you. You will lose comfort, certainty, and sometimes approval. Courage is understanding that not everything you lose is a loss. Some things leave to make space for better alignment. Growth refines your circle, your standards, and your direction. Education helps you see this clearly so you don't mistake loneliness for failure. Look at the life journey of Muniba Mazari and you will understand that courage is not the absence of pain, it is movement despite pain. Choosing yourself daily does not mean life becomes easy, it means you become honest. Honest about your limits, honest about your dreams, honest about what no longer serves you. And honesty is the foundation of real growth. Courage also teaches patience with yourself. You will stumble, you will doubt, you will feel tired. Growth does not require perfection, it requires return. Returning to your values, returning to your discipline, returning to your vision. Each return is an act of courage. Education trains you to view setbacks as data, not defeat. You analyze, adjust, and move forward instead of quitting. Choosing yourself daily builds a life you don't need to escape from. It aligns your actions with your values. It teaches you to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, fear loses its grip. Growth becomes less about proving and more about becoming. You stop performing and start living. You stop shrinking and expanding. Courage is not something you wait for, it is something you practice daily until it becomes your nature.